Business continuity focuses on sustaining critical functions through disruption, and it exists to answer a practical question. How does the organization keep delivering what matters when normal operations are interrupted? Disruptions can come from many directions, including technology failures, natural events, human error, supply chain breakdowns, or security incidents, and they rarely arrive neatly packaged. Continuity planning accepts that disruption is not a hypothetical risk but an operational reality, and it prepares the organization to function through uncertainty rather than freezing in response to it. This is not about guaranteeing uninterrupted service at all costs, but about making intentional decisions in advance so that essential outcomes are protected when pressure is highest. When continuity is planned thoughtfully, the organization can act with purpose instead of improvising under stress. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to the CISSP books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyberauthor.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. A business continuity plan defines essential services, minimum acceptable service levels, and acceptable downtime windows, creating clarity about what truly must continue. Essential services are those functions without which the organization cannot meet its mission, legal obligations, or safety commitments. Minimum service levels define what good enough looks like during disruption, recognizing that degraded operation may be acceptable temporarily. Acceptable downtime windows set expectations for how long a service can be unavailable before consequences become unacceptable, which helps prioritize recovery efforts. These definitions prevent a common failure mode where everything is treated as equally critical, which overwhelms response capacity and delays meaningful recovery. By agreeing on these parameters ahead of time, organizations reduce conflict and confusion when difficult prioritization decisions must be made quickly. Business impact analysis is the structured process used to identify dependencies, impacts, and recovery priorities, and it is the analytical foundation of continuity planning. This analysis examines what happens when a function is disrupted, including financial loss, operational disruption, safety implications, legal exposure, and reputational damage. Dependencies include people, systems, data, facilities, suppliers, and external services that must be available for the function to operate. By mapping these dependencies, the organization uncovers hidden single points of failure that might otherwise be missed. Recovery priorities emerge from understanding which impacts escalate fastest and which dependencies are hardest to replace or restore. A well-executed business impact analysis transforms continuity planning from guesswork into evidence-based prioritization. Criticality rankings separate must-run processes from deferrable activities, enabling focused use of limited recovery resources. Must-run processes are those that cannot pause without causing unacceptable harm, while deferrable activities can be delayed, scaled back, or temporarily suspended. This distinction is crucial because recovery capacity is finite, especially in the early stages of a disruption. Rankings also help teams understand why certain services receive attention first, reducing frustration and internal conflict during stressful periods. Over time, these rankings can inform investment decisions, highlighting where additional resilience would reduce pressure during future events. When criticality is clearly defined, continuity execution becomes more disciplined and predictable. Recovery strategies define how critical functions will be sustained or restored, and they typically include a mix of alternate sites, manual workarounds, and staffing plans. Alternate sites may include secondary facilities, remote work arrangements, or cloud-based capabilities that allow operations to continue when a primary location is unavailable. Manual workarounds acknowledge that technology may not always be accessible, and they define how essential tasks can be performed temporarily using simplified or non-automated methods. Staffing plans address how people will be reassigned, cross-trained, or supported when normal roles are disrupted or when absenteeism is high. No single strategy fits all functions because constraints and dependencies differ across the organization. The value lies in having realistic, practiced options rather than assuming that systems will always be available. Resource requirements extend beyond technology and include people, facilities, suppliers, and communications, because continuity is a whole organization concern. People are often the most critical resource, and plans must consider availability, skill coverage, fatigue, and personal safety. Facilities matter because physical access, power, and environmental controls can become limiting factors during disruptions. Suppliers and third-party services must be considered because continuity plans often depend on external entities that may face the same disruption. Communications resources are essential to coordinate actions, share updates, and maintain trust with stakeholders. By identifying resource requirements explicitly, continuity planning exposes assumptions and reduces the chance that plans fail due to overlooked dependencies. Continuity roles define decision authority, escalation paths, and coordination tasks, ensuring that action does not stall when time matters most. Clear decision authority prevents confusion about who can declare an incident, activate continuity measures, or reallocate resources. Escalation paths define when issues must be elevated to senior leadership, especially when impacts exceed predefined thresholds. Coordination tasks clarify who manages logistics, who communicates with stakeholders, and who tracks status and priorities across teams. Without defined roles, well-intentioned efforts can conflict, duplicating work or creating gaps. Role clarity enables faster, more confident action because participants know their responsibilities and trust others to handle theirs. Communication plans address internal updates, external messaging, and stakeholder expectations, recognizing that information flow shapes perception and effectiveness during disruption. Internal communication keeps teams aligned, reduces rumors, and helps personnel understand priorities and changes in procedure. External communication addresses customers, partners, regulators, and the public as appropriate, balancing transparency with accuracy and legal considerations. Stakeholder expectations must be managed carefully because uncertainty can create anxiety and erode trust if communication is inconsistent or delayed. Communication plans define who speaks, what channels are used, and how messages are approved, preventing mixed signals. When communication is planned in advance, organizations are better positioned to maintain credibility even when operations are stressed. Documentation is the backbone of continuity planning, and it includes contact lists, procedures, dependency maps, and version control to keep information reliable. Contact lists ensure that key personnel and external partners can be reached quickly, even if normal systems are unavailable. Procedures provide step-by-step guidance that supports execution under pressure, reducing reliance on memory. Dependency documentation helps teams understand what must be restored together, preventing wasted effort on isolated components. Version control ensures that plans remain current and that responders are using the correct information during an event. Good documentation turns continuity from an abstract idea into a usable, operational capability. Plan maintenance is essential because organizations change continuously through growth, restructuring, and technology evolution. Assumptions that were valid when a plan was written may become outdated as systems are replaced, roles change, or suppliers shift. Regular reviews update contact information, validate dependencies, and confirm that recovery strategies still make sense. Maintenance also provides an opportunity to incorporate lessons learned from incidents and tests, improving realism and effectiveness. Without maintenance, continuity plans degrade quietly and fail when needed most. Treating maintenance as a routine governance activity keeps continuity aligned with the organization's current state. Testing validates procedures, reveals gaps, and improves coordination readiness, making it one of the most valuable continuity activities. Tests can range from tabletop discussions to functional exercises, and each level provides insight into different aspects of readiness. Validation shows whether procedures are understandable and executable, not just well-written. Gaps often emerge in coordination, communication, and decision-making rather than in technical recovery steps alone. Testing also builds familiarity, reducing hesitation and confusion during real events. Organizations that test regularly tend to respond faster and with greater confidence when disruptions occur. Training ensures that personnel understand responsibilities before an actual disruption occurs, because learning during a crisis is unreliable. Training familiarizes people with plans, roles, and expectations, reducing cognitive load when stress is high. It also reinforces the importance of continuity planning, helping personnel see it as part of their professional responsibility rather than as an abstract compliance requirement. Training can be role-specific, focusing on decision-makers, coordinators, or technical staff, ensuring relevance and effectiveness. When training is consistent, continuity plans become living tools rather than static documents. Prepared people are the difference between a plan that exists and a plan that works. Alignment with incident management prevents competing commands and conflicting priorities during emergencies, which is critical for effective response. Incident management focuses on immediate stabilization, containment, and recovery of specific events, while continuity focuses on sustaining essential operations over time. When these functions are not aligned, teams may receive conflicting instructions, wasting effort and increasing risk. Alignment clarifies how incident response transitions into continuity execution and how decisions are coordinated across functions. This integration ensures that technical response actions support broader operational goals rather than undermining them. Clear alignment strengthens organizational resilience by ensuring that all response efforts move in the same direction. In conclusion, business continuity planning protects mission delivery by preparing the organization to sustain operations through disruption rather than reacting blindly. By defining essential services, acceptable downtime, and recovery priorities, organizations establish clear expectations for action under stress. Business impact analysis and criticality rankings provide the analytical foundation for choosing realistic recovery strategies. Resource planning, role definition, and communication structures ensure that execution is coordinated and credible. Documentation, maintenance, testing, and training keep plans current and usable as the organization evolves. When continuity planning is aligned with incident management, the organization responds as a unified system. This disciplined preparation is what allows critical functions to endure even when normal conditions do not. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.